Yes, namaste. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Sanskrit Sounds and Script Orlando Retreat. Our speaker is Jenna Love. She's going to be leading this retreat, but in this webinar, you are here because you might be ready to experience the transformative vibrations of Sanskrit. Maybe you haven't learned the alphabet and the sounds and how it goes on. And so in this webinar, we're going to explore those sacred sounds in the script of Sanskrit and discover how in our upcoming Orlando retreat, will not just deepen your practice in a joyful, immersive way, but will help you embrace Sanskrit and apply it. So in this webinar, we're going to get into the magic of Sanskrit sounds, how precise mouth positions and breath create resonant meditative vibrations. Jen is going to get into a unique color-coded system that's friendly and makes reading the Sanskrit script Devanagari easy and fun. We're going to do a little chanting together. We'll see if we can make that happen on Zoom, do a little chanting and experience the power of group recitation. It helps with memorization, inner focus, and I think it's also fun. We'll see if we can do that today. And we're going to preview the retreat, what's going to happen in this retreat at Pine Lake in Orlando at our campus. And we're going to get into the details of how Jenna is going to help us master pronunciation and reading simple words, exploring ancient Panini Sutras. So we're going to get into those highlights of the retreat. Yeah, and thank you for being here for today's webinar. This is kind of your first step towards mastery of Sanskrit. And this retreat is going to be immersive. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to get into those details shortly. If you haven't put in the chat where you are zooming in from, please do share with us where you're joining from. And I'll give you a quick shout out. Glad to have all of you with us today. And with that, let me introduce our speaker, Jenna Love. Glad to have her with us today. Jenna Love is actually a third generation yoga teacher. She's been practicing transcendental meditation and Iyengar yoga since the age of 11. She's completed her undergraduate degree in marketing from Florida Gulf Coast University in 2009, and in 2010 attended American Sanskrit Institute's Intro to Sanskrit, which is a weekend immersion to learn the alphabet. And that process of learning was so direct and simple that the pure connection to her own vibration felt transformative. And she knew then that she would want to lead others through this powerful experience, which is exactly why she is with us today. A few other things in Jenna's bio I'll let you know about. She earned her 200-hour RYT, Registered Yoga Teacher Certification with Yoga Alliance. And then she began a 2-year apprenticeship with the American Sanskrit Institute. So since 2015, she's been teaching Intro to Sanskrit courses designed by Vyas Houston, founder of the American Sanskrit Institute. She's done a lot in this space, and including attended a yoga and sound retreat at Arsha Vidya Curriculum in 2017. She graduated from a Veda chanting teacher certification program from Indica Yoga Veda Studies in 2023. And she continues to study with Veda Studies founder Shantala Shrimara and our very own Vedic scholar Sri Aswaji. And it's actually at that last retreat, the Experiencing Shiva retreat, that she got connected to HUA in this deeper way. And we're glad to keep it going with a next retreat that she will be offering. Since relocating to Texas in 2010, Jenna has focused her teaching in holistic health clinics, retreats, and online platforms, catering to both large groups and individualized one-on-one sessions. Jenna shares the practical, physical, and philosophical aspects of yoga, breathwork, meditation, and mantra through alignment-based instruction, interactive demonstration, and personalized guidance. We are glad to have you with us today, Jenna, to give us some personalized guidance. Glad to have you with us today, Jenna. Thank you.
Namaste, Ankar. This is such a beautiful introduction. Thank you. I feel so honored to be here sharing this space with you, with HUA, and all of our friends online. This is such a beautiful collaboration, and I am so grateful for all of these reasons to be able to share everything you just did about me. This is my greatest passion, and to be able to share this platform is quite an amazing honor with those of you who have interest in studying Sanskrit. This is such a bridge to, this aspect of starting Sanskrit sometimes feels like such a grand task. And what is the step to begin? It's often just expected that we already know. And so therefore, this is such a great opportunity to ease into it together in a very simple, approachable way. So I'm grateful for that introduction. Thank you so much. I started through this experience having an attraction to the vibration of chanting. I had the experience, as mentioned, that I was traveling in China and hearing Tibetan monks chanting. It's a different Sanskrit language, yet this vibration of chanting in Sanskrit in any aspect is so powerful and profound without even knowing the meaning, without even knowing what it's about, just the presence of it. And that's something, just having that experience, being in the space of that vibration, I was so pulled and drawn into the experience, wanting to know more. I said, I want to know more. I want to know what this is. And so fortunately, it just all came to me. The American Sanskrit Institute became an opportunity for me to study Sanskrit, which was more relative to my sadhana practice at the time, having started with transcendental meditation, Iyengar yoga. All of the language from these practices are based in Sanskrit. So to be able to have a little bit more understanding, clarity, even just grasping what the sounds are, is a brilliant opportunity. So I was so fortunate to start in this way because this program, learning in one weekend, is very approachable. It's fun, it's simple, it involves the group energetic where we're all learning together in the same moment. And I am so grateful that now we can share this for those who are looking to dive into Sanskrit studies even deeper. This is going to be the foundation for that ability to connect to the sound, not only to read Devanagari, the script, but also to have a better understanding of the sounds, of what the pronunciation is, so that even the practice of listening, even sitting in any classes or discourses on any topic that Sanskrit vocabulary is involved, will be more approachable and accessible to understanding what the topic is, just by having a few words here and there, just being able to grasp the sound. As sometimes those can get lost without having that basis, having the words being said and not even be able to repeat them. What was that word? I can't even repeat it to be able to ask the question about it. So having the grasp of being able to repeat the sound syllable by syllable, not knowing the meaning perhaps, but then repeating the word and asking for its meaning. It just creates that more conversible opportunity to ask questions and learn more. So that's just a little bit about the practicality of learning the language. And back to the aspect of the experience of it. For me, what I was drawn to was the vibration of it. Connecting to my own sound, my own voice, was something I hadn't really explored before. And the purity of this language is connected to our vibration in resonance with our anatomy. Like, there's specific positions in our palate that resonate with sound, and actually connecting to each one individually and finding this, feeling the sound. We find that place and feel the sound. And that's where it comes from, rather than just call and response, make this sound. Well, how do I make that sound? we actually can pinpoint where these points are and explore where and how we feel making resonance by releasing our breath, guiding our breath to those points. And that's what we mean by resonance. We resonate by the breath striking in a specific position to create sound. And that just opens up so many doors of connection to our vibration, having an understanding of where it's coming from. And the alphabet is formed in this way. It's very precise, it's progressive, it's logical. And that's the beauty of studying the alphabet in this way, taking the time in more meditative approach and experiencing each syllable one by one. And grouping them together as well, having an comprehension of the differences, even in each position, we can explore the vibration, the power of the breath, because some letters have more breath than others. And it's all distinguished, it's precise in the alphabet in order. And some of them have a stronger resonance of the vocals, using more strength of the vocal cords. And so we can then balance between the two, having more or less. There is such a precision in this language that is so beautiful, unlike English, the language we're using right now to communicate. We don't think about language this way. We don't think about where are we making these sounds from? How are we using the power of our vocal cords? How are we using the power of the breath? All of these things are so precise and beautiful and make this language so rich. Even if we just recite the alphabet, we'll receive so many gifts, so much connection to the way we think, the way we communicate. Even in our native tongue, we may change the way we speak with more awareness in what we're saying and how we're saying it. So this is bigger. This journey of studying Sanskrit, or even just learning the alphabet, is much bigger than just learning a language, which can open many doors in any language. But this one in particular has such power. And when we have this comprehension of the precision, we can then apply it to any of our intention, whether it's going deeper into Sanskrit study, becoming a scholar, going deeper into devotional practices, mantra, and reading Shastra, the texts, to refine our awareness and understanding, comprehension. All of this comes from learning the basis of the alphabet. This is opening the door to all that we wish to receive, to connect to our comprehensions of this higher consciousness. This is the language to do it. This is what I was drawn to by the Patanjali Yoga Sutras through my practices. By learning the alphabet, I was then able to start reciting the Yoga Sutras directly through Devanagari. And that connection becomes more meditative, where the meaning unravels through that process, more so than comprehension and contemplation on translation. Because there's so many things that happen in translation. And when we can directly connect to the language in its unique form and vibration, connecting to those positions, there's something that happens in our own sound. And it is really a beautiful process. So we can have a more direct experience also when reading Devanagari. It's not essential that we read Devanagari, the script. However, it provides another layer of clarity to the language. For example, we have in English, the first letter of the alphabet is A. And A, it's a title for the letter. It's not just its sound, it has a title, and its sounds can be various. We can say many different words, whether it starts with a letter A or the letter A is inserted in between other letters. It takes on different characteristics and sounds. The first letter of Sanskrit is A, and the title for A is A. It's more of a phonetic language. It doesn't change. Up is up. And there's a beauty in connection to this language of each sound is its sound. Each syllable is its own syllable. It doesn't change depending on what letters are following it on its own sound. It does have relationships with other letters. And that is what's beautiful, is learning the relationship of each sound and how it connects to others. And there are specific rules and aspects to it, which becomes very mathematical. It's very logical the way the language forms. And having a basis of the alphabet is all we need, just having a connection to each sound. So what I could do is share with you a chart that color codes each of these letters. We're not going to go into the depth of meaning of how the colors are coded and understanding all of the letters today, but just to have a glance of what does it look like when the alphabet is colored. It's very beautiful. It kind of takes away some of the intimidation of all the black and white and so many letters. And when we identify in groups by color coding each letter, and if I can share, yes, okay. I will open my.
Yeah, while you get that opened, Vidyaji from Orlando, thank you for joining. Aryaji from Chennai, now in South Carolina. Ramji from Sunnyvale. Preeti from New Jersey. Justin from Poland. Dilip from Maryland. Thank you all for joining. And let's see this color-coded script. I'm excited to hear this. One of my favorite quotes is language is the old growth forest of the mind, right? There's so much depth to language and how throughout history it's helped develop human thought. And then you're just sharing so much there. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you. And I feel like I'm revealing secrets here because typically in our weekend course, we reveal one letter at a time. And we're unraveling, we're rediscovering and connecting with our sound, and one letter appears. And the aspect is to really have such a meditative focus to watch the ink dry as each letter is written and really imbibe the sound vibration. So we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to give you a glance at the alphabet. And so this is all handwritten. It it takes on different characteristics each time each letter is written, and a color coding system to identify each category of letters. And here we start with vowels. And the vowels are color-coded. We have simple vowels, which regulate the rhythm of the language. That's another beautiful thing about Sanskrit, is that it's written, it's all identified, and how everything is pronounced through its own beat, its own matra. Vowel has an identified beat. So the first vowel has just one beat. The second vowel has two beats. So it depends, it really changes our pronunciation. In English and other languages, we rely on enunciation for how a word can be said. However, it's not by choice. In Sanskrit, it's actually really specific how the pronunciation is to be. For example, those who practice yoga might have heard the term asana, and having heard it possibly in different meter, they might hear it differently because it might be read and not heard. And that's where transliteration gets tricky. We see the letters and we read them. Like I mentioned, the letter A is the first letter of the English alphabet, and it's called A, but it can sound like or a or ah. So it changes. However, in Sanskrit, we have followed by the first two letters. Ah. So the first letter has one beat, the second has two. So the word asana in yoga, it means posture. So each specific posture in yoga ends with the term asana. And it's not asana or asana or all these different things we might hear because of those who are reading the transliteration and have not heard the word spoken as asana. The first letter isn't long second is short asana. So that's what regulates the rhythm, which is really beautiful, especially when we experience mantra and chanting. That's what regulates that meter as the vowels. So we have groupings of vowels and each position. I mentioned the positions, the mouth positions. We won't go into depth with that today because that takes time. We have only a short amount of time today, but I encourage you to keep exploring this. And the practice is quite beautiful. I can briefly show those just to get an idea before we go into this more. I'll go back to my previous page here. And the first position we refer to, just so it's not such a mystery, like what are we talking about positions here? The first one, we go furthest in our apparatus, in our mouth. So if we have our 5 fingers, hold your 5 fingers up towards your face. If you feel your thumb is furthest back, that's pointing in the direction of what we would call the guttural position, and that's towards the back of the throat. And this is where we can form sound without shaping the mouth, without using the tongue. The guttural position is just the most natural. So if we relax our jaw and take a deep breath in and out through the nose, and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Everybody at home, practice with us. In deep breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. You'll hear that breath sigh out. This time on the exhale, we're going to make sound. So inhale through the nose. Naturally, the sound that comes out, yes, you feel that sound, that is the first letter of the alphabet. And kind of beautiful thing is kind of why we don't have any structural obstructions changing the resonance. Just naturally, when we take an exhale, is what we sound, first sound of the Sanskrit alphabet. So that's the first position, Palatal is the next position. So if we hold our fingers up and we point with our index finger, that's pointing in the direction of the palatal position. And this one can be slightly tricky. We're not going to go into all the examples today, but if you feel with your tongue, the roof of your mouth, you can feel that there's a hard palate through most of the mouth. And if you bring your tongue further back into the palate, you'll feel this top of the mouth being more soft. And there's this meeting point between the hard palate and the soft palate. You're feeling gliding back and forth with your tongue. You'll feel this position where the hard and soft palate meet. That's where we refer to the palatal. So this one can be tricky to play with because this one does require a little bit more maneuvering with the tongue to guide the flow of air to resonate in that position. And this is something we'll be exploring more thoroughly in the weekend retreat. So I'll just leave you at that with the palatal for now. And then we'll move to the cerebral. So the cerebral position is if we have our hand by our palate in front of our face, side of our face, we point directly up, the middle finger pointing directly up to the cathedral. We can refer to as the highest point most often in our palate is referred to as cerebral, so the upper front hard palate. Then moving forward is where we're going to feel most familiar with when we speak English and several other Western languages. It's mostly where we speak from is very dental, very forward, behind the teeth. So that one is going to be a very easy one to connect with. The labial is the 5th position, and that is, I skipped one with a hand. So when we have our hand up, we have our ring finger, our 4th finger pointing to the dental position. And then finally, for the labial, our pinky pointing towards the lips. So we have these 5 positions. This is a kind of a fun trick to use when you're trying to remember which position is that letter. We can hold our hand up and feel like which finger are we on, which position. There are only 5, but it takes a little repetition to feel and connect with these positions. So at the labial, this is another very familiar sound. We use our lips to shape and form. For example, the 5th position vowel on the next chart here. I'm I don't have control over my cursor and was not prepared for that. But if you'll see now, at the end of the top line, we have two letters that look very similar. And we have oo followed by oo on the very top line. So we have the fifth position, we use the lips to guide the flow of air to create that sound resonance at the lips for the sound ooh, ooh. So we move from the first position ah to the fifth position ooh by using the apparatus of our structure, our lips, to guide and flow the air. So the practice will become having the awareness of how we're using our structure to create resonance in each position. So those are just two examples of the vowels to create that resonance. I'm going to see if I can get my cursor by just being, yeah, I can use my cursor here in this view, and I'll take that away and make this a little bit smaller. Okay. So I was pointing out ooh, ooh. And the movement then becomes having the connection to the vowels that create the rhythm. Then we come to the consonants. And this is where the breath comes into play, as well as the vocalization of the letters. And so we'll do just a little call and response to get an idea of what it feels like, or to even listen and hear these letters. And you can play along at home, just call and response, repeat the sounds that you hear. And initially that is the playfulness of this, is just to discover your own sound, your own vibration. And through the guidance of instruction, of finding these places and following the guidance of how much breath to use and how much vocalization to use, will really help in the repetition to connect each letter. And it evolves in a really beautiful process where you have your own connection to each letter, and they can build upon each other and start to form words. And then you're just set free in having this experience of the alphabet. So I'll recite the first line of the consonants with a little bit of a melody that we do use for call and response. It makes it a little bit more approachable. So we have the first line, which is going to all be in the guttural position. Guttural, same as up. We have the guttural position. If we have our hand up, guttural was the fifth, the thumb. Excuse me, the first position, the thumb would be pointing all the way back. So that's guttural. We simply release the jaw, make the sound for the first consonant, a first vowel, and then the first consonant, we create a contact point, ka, in that guttural position. Ka is the sound, ka. And so in our first category, we have very little breath. And this can be tricky for us because if we haven't learned Sanskrit or in any languages that have the use of the breath in this way, it sometimes can be tricky to kind of hold back the breath. We want everything to be very soft and easy. So no hardening anything, just create a sound by connecting to that guttural position, ka, ka. The second one is going to be adding breath. So a release, kind of like a sigh. Ka, ka. The next letter, we add vocalization, and kind of starting in that ka sound, we're going to add vocals here, not much breath, but just vocalization. We have g, g. Then we add not only vocalization, but also more breath. G, g. So we have ka, 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 g, 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 g. And finally, to end the line, we have a nasal sound where we use the resonance of the nasal cavity, but connecting to that point of that guttural position. This one's really fun. Nga, nga. So Ankarji, if you are able to, if you're not too busy managing the panel, If you would unmute, and we'll just do a little call and response. I'm going to use a melody. I'll repeat it twice. And then if you would, so that they can at home can repeat along with your voice. So I'll repeat it twice just so you can hear the melody. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. Again. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga.
Ka, ka, ga, ga, na, na. The nasal. Yeah.
Yes. We'll do that again so everyone else at home can get the feel of this. This takes lots of repetition, and we do it letter by letter so that everyone in the moment feels connected. And then if anyone has questions, they can ask, and everyone shares in this moment of like, well, how do you get that? And we hear from everyone's perspective of how they're feeling it in their palate, and we get to hear how it sounds for everyone in each person's voice. So when we do this in a shared room, it's really powerful to learn as a group. So again, let's everybody at home follow along with Ankatji. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga.
Ka, ka, ga, ga, na.
One more time. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga.
Ka, ka, ga, ga, na.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I put him on the spot as my student for this segment. Thank you so much for that. And so that's just to give the example. I think that was a great example for everyone to play along with at home and get a feeling for just sharing one's voice. So yes, this is a transformative kind of experience on many levels because a lot of people are not comfortable sharing their voice. And this kind of experience encourages us to do that in a very safe, friendly way, because we're all doing it together and we're doing one letter at a time and we're really connecting with the position. So it becomes about our position connection more so than our voice and the quality of our voice. And what we may find is that the quality of our voice changes when we get out of the way of having to sound any particular way. We're looking for a connection. We're going more internally rather than going outward and projecting our voice. We're going inward to feel and really kind of have that meditative experience of where is the sound coming from? And that's when we can really connect more deeply with what this whole presence is. When we go into all of the depths of studies of yoga and Veda, it's all about consciousness and the senses and how we experience life. And so this whole process is designed to help us have another sense of our listening, our sight. We're going through the senses and learning language. And the first instruction, I threw Ankarji into the fire in a one way without giving him this instruction. The main point before we start the weekend immersion, we go through this exercise of releasing the aspect of having to get it right. And we release any framework of our previous education system where we have to know it all. And we just come in with a clean slate. We unattach from anything that our mind tells us that we have to do in getting it right. And then we can truly focus on the sound. So we'll use a Yoga Sutra from Patanjali as a basis for our practice. And we'll go through an exercise before we begin. And the intention for this is truly just to have fun, to make sound, to create vibration. And that is all. And through that process, we learn the entire alphabet. It's completely revealed to us as a reminder that this is our own sound. All of these sounds are in us already. And it's not about learning and memorizing something and studying really hard. It's already there. So this process will be to let go of everything so we can be fully present as a group. And so one more time, I'll invite us. Now with that instruction, just playfulness, we'll just, everyone at home follow along. We'll just recite that first line again. Ka, ha, ga, ga, nga. If you would, all together. ka, ha, ga, gha, nga. And so this process will be simplified through that letting go, and that it's a shared experience by all of us doing this process, sharing it together. We will go at a more rapid pace. It becomes easier and we get to build upon it. And that's the strength of doing this whole connection to experiencing the connection to each letter consecutively in one weekend rather than over a period of time, over a semester long. We have the semester long amount of hours packed into one weekend where we can build upon each letter, each combination in a much more progressive way. I just wanted to break here. Is there any questions or anything that we want to dive into at this point, or shall we wait till the end?
Yeah, we had some hands up in the chat, but I'm not sure what they're about. Maybe if you could type it out. And we don't have any questions in the Q&A box, so I think we can keep going. I have this one poll on webinar attendance. Thank you for answering that. We'll share that later.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So we'll take this just a step further as to how we'll progress in the weekend, because here's another chart that we have that will continue, because we have this language, this alphabet, which I've just showed you in color coding. These consonants that we have here, they also combine with vowels. So we will also experience the alphabet with each vowel sound. So we'll learn how the vowels combine both in its vibration as well as in its appearance. You'll see the letter U appears, is a beautiful characteristic, kind of a vowel abbreviation below each letter. And so we'll then have the ability to combine the vowels with the consonants. And that's an important aspect to create the sound, for example, ku and ku and gu. Versus in our first chart, we had ka, and ga. We changed the vowel ku, and gu, just the first letters. And I'm stopping here at this gu because I have an example of at the end of the weekend, what we will be doing is reading words. We will have color-coded words. We have here gu. And then what we would do is find what's this letter here, color-coded. We would find it down here, this teal color, in what we would call the semivowels. And here we have the letter ra with the vowel u. So therefore, this would be pronounced ru. So here we can now read the word gu, ru, guru. So, but many of you at any level might have heard the word in Sanskrit, guru, because this is a word that has been now adapted into English. I've seen many business names taking the honor of guru. As far as whether they're selling donuts or whatever, something silly, the donut guru, I've seen some. I live in an area where big city names take on all kinds of interesting things, but the purest form of guru is the teacher, the one that sheds light on darkness. So we have guru. This is your first word for some of you to ever have read in Devanagari, the script of Sanskrit. So this is how we will form, is by practicing each letter, becoming familiar with its pronunciation and its position in the alphabet. That color coding system really helps to understand and clarify the categorization and position, not only in our anatomy, but in position in the alphabet. Each letter has a relationship to each other. And so by the end of the weekend, we'll have a clarity of these relationships within our own vibration and on the page in front of us, as well as then being able to take that to the next step and start reading words.
Awesome. Just to interrupt you a little bit, I think Ramji did ask this earlier, so I'll get it. But I think this is a general question. What level of Sanskrit knowledge is expected for this retreat? And it sounds like nothing, right? You don't even have to have any Indian language knowledge. You don't have to even know how to read the script. We're going to go through all of that. So 0, is that right?
Yes, absolutely 0. And that is the most brilliant aspect of this. And it's all inclusive in a way that those who have already studied some or a lot, they're also welcomed. And that creates an even more brilliant shared experience, having multi-levels. And this format works beautifully for that. Sanskrit is a multi-dimensional, multi-level language. And for those who have studied any text will know that every day that you read something, it changes. Our perspective changes, its meaning changes. There's so many levels to comprehension. And it's the same thing with the alphabet. We can go deeper with our connection because in Sanskrit, this is kind of a unique approach. It's not, it's kind of skipped over, like I mentioned, and lots of academics, we just start with already knowing. We just have to study it and learn it, memorize it. But this is a unique opportunity to create that relationship with each letter in a whole new way and have a different, more connected way to feeling our own sound as well as reading. So yes, everyone is welcome to this experience. And even for those who feel like they have learning challenges, this format is so specific in welcoming and really taking that time to precisely connect with our own sound, that we're not expected to forcefully learn anything. It's kind of like just revealing something within us. So it's a really powerful process. That's why we use the word friendly. This is very friendly Sanskrit. And for anyone who has felt discouraged, who has attempted an academic approach and feels like it's just beyond them, I'm here to tell you that this is a fabulous opportunity to bridge that disconnect, because this is something for everyone to discover their sound and to be able to read in one weekend. It's really a phenomenal experience.
Awesome. I think there might be a few folks who've never even seen the script and never practiced it, but I also think part of our audience at Hindu University of America, especially the folks who were born in India, maybe did their up to 10th standard or whatever, and then came here, they may have taken a Sanskrit course or had to. So this is perfect for you to refresh, get back into it, and then take the next step. So over a weekend, it sounds like you can catch up on all of that stuff that maybe you should have studied harder in when you were younger. But over a weekend, you can catch up and then take the next steps going forward. And I think that's how this whole thing is being positioned, because people need that refresher, and doing it over a weekend in this kind of friendly Sanskrit parameters and this atmosphere would really help you catch up, brush off the dust, and then start applying it. So I think for that audience, our audience, this could be a really nice opportunity. I have Akarajuji who has their hand up, and I think Chandrashi, you had your hand up, you had a question, but then you put it down. Let me know if you want to, and then Jenna, when you're ready, we can take some people, unmuting them and allowing them to voice their questions instead of me reading them for them. So let me know when that's good.
Absolutely. I feel like this is probably plenty of content to dive into, because I could go on forever with this with Sanskrit and learning the alphabet. As you know, I could teach several weekends consecutively and never get tired of it. So wonderful. And so what I do want to mention also, but before we come to, I guess, more, so we make sure we have time, because I would like to mention that my experience going to Pine Lakes Retreat Center, I is it was just so, I'm gonna share it, but put on the screen here. I took a few photos that just basically it's just such a serene environment, and this is the most ideal setting to have a kind of experience like this, where we can come together and share, but also be in nature and just have that quiet solitude and get away from life and all the distractions. I took some morning sunrise pictures. You see the fog on the lake. It's just like so exquisite. I was just so stunned by the property and the sun setting over there's like a little pond lake there, and there's several other lakes. They have acres of land, and they'll give you a tour too if you ask. It's just beautiful, the trees, there's so much nature, wildlife, and it felt so secure and safe. I could just be. And the also the team felt so welcoming. I felt so much at home and taken care of while I was there. The food is amazing. Uh, I could eat forever there. I might have gained a few pounds because I was eating every meal abundantly and loving and very much appreciating it. And everyone has such warm smiles and such gratitude there. And also this HUA, this facility, this place, these courses, this content attracts like-minded people who have this warmth and this ability to see and share. And I felt so much at home through my experience attending a retreat there. I just wanted to say some of that because I felt like when I was registering, I wasn't sure. I didn't have all the information. I didn't know what it was going to look like, who was going to be there, and all. And so I just wanted to assure anyone kind of questioning, like, what is this? That you will be taken care of and you won't have to think about anything. The meals are prepared. You just get away and you get to feel your own vibration and make new friends who will likely be lifetime family for you, because that's what happened for me. In all accounts, when I started studying Sanskrit and when I went to Pine Lakes retreat, both. So I feel like this doubles up on an amazing opportunity.
Awesome. So that's perfect timing. Yeah. So I dropped in the chat links to some of the details. It's going to be June 12th to June 15th. So that timeline, and it'll be family friendly. If you want to come by yourself or as a couple, we will, as Jenna said, we will accommodate and we'll try to make it feel like home and welcoming and all of that. So we're glad to be doing this and offering retreats. And again, one retreat leads to the next, right? Like you're saying, like-minded people who want to be in this space, who have something to offer. So if you haven't taken any course yet at all, maybe you want the in-person retreat, that would be better. That'd be perfectly okay. So I've dropped some of the details there, and we'll take all of your questions if um, we still have some time, so we'll be able to take all of your questions. All right, so Jenna, that was awesome. I love that and the way that you put it out there. That's what we're going for, and made me feel warm and fuzzy as well. So that's great. Anything else you want to add before we have some of our audience ask away?
Well, on the retreat end, also, I do have to mention, because I feel like this was not in the announcements when I signed up for my retreat. I didn't realize that there's going to be an amazing yoga instruction happening. So just kind of an aside to, like, every aspect is being taken care of, your body, your mind, everything, the food, the yoga asana as well as the yoga nidra sessions were so nourishing. So we're not going to be sitting all day long and bored out of our minds. We're going to be constantly moving, whether it's physically or mentally, with our breath. All of meditation, all of this it's just a most amazing balance. It's going to be a tremendous reset for the whole nervous system, for the whole aspect of being, that it is a transformation. Just our sound connecting with our transformation is just enough, in addition to getting away, in addition to being in this nature setting and having the body taken care of, well fed, nourished, and stretched and balanced. So I'm just really looking forward to being there again and feel honored that I get to share my passion while I'm there too.
Awesome, awesome. Ramji's asking, what is the day's schedule? Like you kind of got into it, is perfectly balanced, and there's all these different components. But if you want to just lay it
So
out a little bit.
yes, we start the early morning with yoga, an hour-long session, and it usually does start with some vibrational mantra, chanting, very simple, very soft and quiet. And I'm not leading the yoga session, but I believe that our Vice President, Aravinji, might be leading this. He has an amazing soothing voice. So we start with yoga, and then we'll go into our sessions of Sanskrit. We'll have breaks in between. So if anyone, and that's another unique aspect of this particular program, is that we move on together as a group so that no one is left out. There's no missing gaps of information. Everyone learns together. So if someone needs a bio break, then, oh, okay, let's just kind of make an agreement amongst everyone. Do we need 5 minutes? Do we need 10 minutes? And we break together. And we also break for lunch together. And there will be a full schedule for Sanskrit in the morning and the afternoon. And then dinner, of course. We have lunch and dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner. So yoga, breakfast, Sanskrit, more Sanskrit, and lunch, yoga nidra, Sanskrit, more Sanskrit. And then we will have dinner. And then in the evenings, we'll have more of a satsang experience, which is going to be phenomenal. So this retreat is actually going to be balanced with an Ayurveda retreat simultaneously. So they're going to be having their program simultaneously while we're having our Sanskrit journey. And in the evenings, we get to share in satsang together and meet more like-minded individuals and grow our family together. So I'm really looking forward to this experience as well in the evening satsang program. So we usually go until at least 9 o'clock at night. So these are full days. The yoga sessions usually start around 6:30 or 7. So we have full days. However, every aspect is so nourishing. That's what I said. It truly is a reset. So there's no time for fatigue to settle in because everything keeps us nourished and going forward. And it's quite beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, let's have Chandrashi. I think you can unmute yourself and talk. But that balance and going on, all the different aspects and the different faculty, I don't even think our audience has even heard about the next Ayurveda retreat. So that'll be coming out later. We'll
So
I
this is
announce it.
great. Thank you for all the explanation. When you were showing us the alphabet, one of the letters, because we did learn Sanskrit when we were in high school, in high school, and I don't know if this is others also have that experience that I did, but the letter na is also pronounced, at least we were pronouncing them at that time as anga. And I don't know if you heard that or this is, just us manipulating it or changing it to our liking. But I thought that when we were in school, it is ka, kha, ga, gha, anga. Is that's how we learned, right? So maybe I don't know if I was, it was right, or maybe you have the correct one. I didn't know if others had the same experience or not.
That's a really good question. And there could be variation based on different lineage and areas of study. And also it is more easily pronounced by having a vowel in front of it because it is a tricky letter to be pronounced. And that could be a part of it too. Tradition, how I've been taught was just, I but
see.
to to be able to sometimes to be able to, in order to pronounce certain letters, especially when we go into compounds, we'll add an sound in front of it in order to fully grasp that sound, because is
No,
not going to be the first letter of a word. So
yeah,
typically we'll have a vowel preceding it, and that could be why it's
I
pronounced.
see. I see. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
asking.
And thank you for being with us, Chandrashi. Awesome. Kundaji is asking, what age children are accepted? How young can we have, and what is the usual makeup of folks? And if you want to talk about that, who's learning Sanskrit and where do they start?
So for these courses, I think 15 was the youngest, I believe 15. we might accept 14. So we'll have to look in individual process for that. So because of the amount of hours, it does require certain maturity with the group and focus, and because children are taught in a different way. So there could be programs that are best for that. This is quite a fun an opportunity, so it could, just depending on the situation and who is learning Sanskrit. Well, I'd like to say everyone. It really is for everyone, as I described. It's really about connecting to your own vibration. I do fully believe that it is accessible for everyone. And it interests those who do study other aspects of any kind of Indic knowledge system, meaning from the Vedas, from Ayurveda, the health aspect, from Jyotish, which is more about how we are mapped out, kind of the astrology. And so there are so many different professions that have developed that do use Sanskrit. And also one major industry that has been booming in the West now is yoga. And so if every yoga teacher could learn Sanskrit pronunciation, it would be so powerful, because there are so many words, so much terminology used in yoga. And then a lot of yoga teachers who are interested in mantra as well, and in introducing mantra to their students to learn the pronunciation will empower those mantras. Because without the pronunciation, it loses its integrity and power. Because that power, as we were just describing, it's in us. It's our connection to these positions. It's connection to the breath. And so it's kind of a miss if we're not using our breath in this precise way to strengthen that intent. So yoga would be a great, anyone who practices yoga, anyone who teaches yoga, to learn Sanskrit is a great thing. And then those who are interested in their deepening their devotional practices, to making that connection, the same commitment, those who are chanting, especially to have that connection, even if they know Sanskrit, just to deepen that connection to the sound is really profound.
Yeah. The different applications, I'm sure we're going to get into that. Professor Gold, welcome from Kurukshetra. Thank you for joining. Kylie from Arizona, glad that you were able to join us. Vidyaji, thank you for joining. I have got the poll question up. Let us know if you're interested in enrolling in the retreat, if you're interested in other HUA courses. I also put the details in the chat one more time. We'll definitely be following up. The recording will be made available. If you have other questions, please do put them in the Q&A box. I see one more. We'll get to it. Oh, so we have many programs. One of them is this Bhagavad Gita through Sanskritam. Another is the Sanskritam Proficiency Program. Those are longer conversations, and maybe the details of which anonymous attendee we can get into, and we can talk directly to a counselor, somebody who can walk you through each of those programs. But I think this retreat would be a great place to start if you're thinking about getting into a program, right, of Sanskrit, of Sanskritam, and how you want to apply it. A 1 weekend retreat would be a perfect way to ask these questions, get engaged, catch up, and then also connect with the HUA family. So please do consider taking this retreat as your first step as you re-engage your Sanskrit journey, or begin it, or wherever you may be. So this is going to be a great launching point, I think, for a lot of folks who are going to get into that and apply Sanskrit. Like you said, the whole yoga connection is so big, and we know it, right? The way that yoga has been appropriated in the West, clearly learning the Sanskrit and reconnecting the actual language and the pronunciations and the depth behind it can go towards that reconnecting yoga to its Hindu roots. So that's an interesting point that I'm glad that you made. Again, if you haven't seen the poll question, maybe minimize, maximize, let us know if you're interested in this retreat, June 12th to 15th. Yeah, so that's up there. Back to you, Jenna.
Thank you. I would also say that I've had students who have had no influence of yoga, Hindu philosophy or any other aspect, but just a curiosity of the language and how it functions as an engineer. Because there is the logic, mathematical aspects of how the language itself works in grammar and how the letters, their relationships, how they relate together. It is quite fascinating, even as a puzzle for the mind to follow. It has a lot of potency in that way. So I encourage anyone who has a curious mind to take a look into Sanskrit and discovering what it can reveal for them as well.
Awesome. All right, folks, last chance to ask your questions. Jenna has been wonderful. I really, again, the whole journey that you've been on, that you've taken us through and are going to be leading a whole batch of folks at Pine Lake. I'm excited for it. I'm glad that we were able to make this partnership. I appreciate how you said this is kind of the webinar, just being on the webinar, it's like a show. I really like that sat in my head for a little bit, and I'm glad that you are our guest today. I hope our audience appreciates this. A little bit different timing. Maybe we'll have you on again for another webinar where we're talking about the retreat again, maybe some other aspects. Folks, now's the time to ask your last set of questions. Shantaji, I see you. Glad that you're here. Radha Ellen Katz, awesome that you've been able to join us. VJG, I don't know which VJG, but glad that you're here. And Justin from Poland. I know maybe you're not going to be able to make the retreat in Florida, but glad that you're able to join the webinar. All right. Yeah, just again, my pleasure to host you, be here with you. I hope Kalyanji sends me to the retreat. I hope I get to be there as well. I'm going to ask him. That would be
That
amazing.
I do wish for that. It would be an honor to have you be with us, to see your smile in person. And yes, I did say to Ankarji how wonderful it is to be on your show, because I've been a fan of this webinar. And so I feel like I know you, and watching you all of these months and years, actually, since I've been enrolled at HUA as myself. So I really appreciate this. This is such an honor for me to be able to share this.
My honor, my pleasure. Awesome. Thank you so much. And let me hand it to you for maybe closing thoughts, what we're looking forward to, what else you're up to, however you'd like to end it. And the recording, yes, Kalpanaji, we'll send out this recording by email, so you'll be able to see that and share it with other folks who might be interested in this. And please let folks know, maybe it'll be good for you to come to the retreat as a family, as a group of friends, as parents and children, however it is. A brother and sister, if you're older and want to reconnect with a cousin or something, maybe we can have a range of folks join us to re-engage in this. So looking forward to this. Thank you. All right, Jenna, closing
Yes,
thoughts?
I love that idea of, just coming with someone that you already know, like having that shared experience, whether it's family, friend, colleague, or another kind of devotional practice that you share. That is such a great way to dive into this practice, because then you already have a study buddy, someone that you can continue to practice with. Because this whole weekend is something that is just the beginning for you to launch into any direction that you choose to continue your study and practice. You'll have the ability to recite the alphabet, and just that in itself is enough to have a transformative experience, because that was what it did for me when I learned the alphabet. I felt more of a transformational experience because of the breath work, because of the vibrational connection, more so than any other asana, any other yoga training that I had previously experienced. So that's what made me say, I need to share this more than any other yoga practice. It's the vibrational aspect of yoga. This is what I want to share. So that's the greatest honor for me to witness others in this, and like just holding your hand while you experience your own vibration, and then send you off into your journey of whatever it is that you want to deepen, your studies, your practice, And then having that built-in system, if you do bring a friend or whomever with you, you already have that assurance that you had this shared experience, you can continue on in that journey. And if you have a whole group of people that you study and practice with and you're interested, I would recommend you sign up quickly, because this will be an intimate setting. The space is limited because it is so interactive. We will not have a large group for this. So if you think you have, because this is what happens, like they're in a yoga community or a devotional practice and they want everybody to learn, it's important then sign up quickly so that we can make sure we fit all of you in together. And that would be so much fun to share this with a group that way too. And Orlando being a fantastic location to experience this, because these kinds of weekends, they deserve that getaway experience, to disconnect, to really feel one point focus. This is the practice. If you want to have a getaway meditation experience, this is it. This is deep. This is deep work to have that focus and connect with your sound for consecutive hours in a weekend like this. This is a very unique opportunity. So I really look forward to sharing this with all of you, and hopefully Ankaji can join us as well.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jenna, so much. Namaste. Dhanyawad.
Namaste.